The ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States here on our own soil.
Our country is really at an increased threat for a terrorist attack.
In just the past few weeks, multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans. We are addressing these threats with a sense of urgency.
So my dear Americans, I will impart to you the video film from both of these so way you could see it for you and let me in on your viewpoints. Do they know something that we don't? As the two of them came out today and made these admonitions. Investigate being cautions of an expanded fear-monger danger says us is in a hazardous period at the present time. And this accompanies the making it known unfurling today that Yemen has authoritatively pronounced battle against Israel. FBI Chief Christopher Wray said Tuesday the conflict among Israel and Hamas has prompted a spike in dangers against the U.S. That's what advance notice we are in a risky period as different psychological oppressor bunches seek influence the contention for their own causes. The danger of global psychological warfare in the U.S. had generally died down as of late, especially since the loss of the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. Yet senior American authorities say Hamas' destructive October 7 assault on Israel has made another dynamic with perilous ramifications at home and abroad. He said the FBI has no proof of an inescapable danger from an unfamiliar fear-monger bunch, yet he noticed that since Hamas' assault on Israel, Al-Qaeda has given its most unambiguous call for viciousness against the U.S. in years, while the Islamic State has encouraged its devotees to target Jewish people group in the US and Europe. Dubai joined Middle Eastern Emirates Yemen's Houthi rebels interestingly Tuesday guaranteed rocket and robot assaults focusing on Israel, bringing their principal support Iran rank closer into the continuous Israel-Hamas battle in the Gaza Strip and further raising the dangers of a provincial clash. Emitting the Houthis had been associated with an assault before this month focusing on Israel by sending rockets and robots over the vital transportation path of the Red Ocean, an attack that saw the U.S. naval force killed the shots this time on Tuesday. Nonetheless, Israel said its own warrior streams and its new Bolt rocket safeguard framework destroyed 2 salvos of approaching fire hours separated as it moved toward the nation's key Red Ocean transporting port of Isat. On the homegrown front, she said she has no signs of any Iranian danger inside the U.S. However, she forewarned that Iran has a critical escalatory capacity that it could approach if Iran concluded it needed to increase the contention. Discussions about the most pressing national security threats that we face and what we're doing to tackle them are always important. But it seems especially well-timed this year with the dangerous implications the very fluid situation in the Middle East has for our homeland security. The reality is that the terrorism threat has been elevated throughout 2023, but the ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States to a whole another level. Since the horrific terrorist attacks committed by Hamas against innocent people in Israel a few weeks ago, we've been working around the clock to support our partners there and to protect Americans here at home. We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration the likes of which we haven't seen since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago. In just the past few weeks, multiple foreign terrorist organizations have called for attacks against Americans and the West. Al-Qaeda issued its most specific call to attack the United States in the last 5 years. ISIS urged its followers to target Jewish communities in the United States and Europe. Hezbollah has publicly expressed its support for Hamas and threatened to attack U.S. interests in the Middle East. And we've seen an increase in attacks on U.S. military bases overseas carried out by militia groups backed by Iran. Here in the United States, our most immediate concern is that violent extremists, individuals, or small groups will draw inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks against Americans going about their daily lives. That includes not just homegrown violent extremists inspired by a foreign terrorist organization but also domestic violent extremists targeting Jewish or Muslim communities. Well, first, I want to thank Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn for always being so forward in welcoming us to their home state of Texas and for organizing opportunities for us to go and visit the southern border of the United States with Mexico. We have just returned from our southern border, and it is painfully clear that with Joe Biden's open border policy, our country is really at an increased threat for a terrorist attack. A couple of days before we got there, alert border agents were able to seize immigrants carrying with them IEDs, explosive devices really tailor-made for terrorism. They were the size of cannonballs. We went on a midnight patrol on Thursday night and encountered a group of migrants from as far away as Moldova. One man, a middle-aged man, was there, said he was traveling as a family. That's because families received special treatment. He had a young girl with him, maybe about the age of 10, said it was his daughter. She looked scared, there was no sign of affection, and there was no mother. You've seen the statistics, over 8 million border crossings, illegal border crossings, under Joe Biden last month, another all-time high. As more information comes out on this, I'll be sure to keep you up to date so that way you know exactly what's taking place. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. That's the end of today's video. I will see you guys in the next video. If you like the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos.